Clay, what's the best part about being general counsel for the Houston Rockets?
The best part is that even on my bad days, I can just walk down the stairs and go to a game here inside Toyota Center.
And that is totally crazy that your office is in Toyota Center, by the way. This is Unlawful. Welcome to Unlawful. As always, I'm Brandon Renken. With me today is Clay Allen. Clay is the general counsel for the Houston Rockets and an old friend of mine. Welcome to the show, Clay.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you having me.
We've joked on Unlawful a lot about how whenever you ask lawyers how they're doing, they always say living the dream or something sarcastic like that. But being general counsel of the Rockets, for many people, I think, especially for many lawyers who think they're locked into some kind of job, that really would be a bit of a dream job. Were you dreaming of becoming GC of the Rockets when you were in law school?
I wasn't dreaming of becoming GC of the Rockets when I was in law school. I thought it would be a cool job, but also didn't really think that it could happen just because I knew there were so few lawyers. The Rockets have 2 lawyers. But I grew up in Houston as a Rockets fan. I was in high school during the Rockets championship years. So now to be the GC for the team I grew up cheering on. I was on Westheimer celebrating after the championship years. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I was in the summit when we beat the Knicks, up in the nosebleeds, but I was there, and for sure it was something I'll never forget. I'm not jealous, but I'm just in awe that you get to be a part of that kind of history.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. When I think about my career, I've been with the Rockets now, I think 16 years. It's like a large portion of the whole history of the team, right? The Rockets have been around for 50 years, so 20-25% of the time I've been working for the Rockets. Pretty cool.
Man, I hadn't even thought about that. That's an incredible perspective. By the end of your career, and I'm sure you'll have a long career, you'll be there longer than Hakeem or Otis Thorpe or any of those guys, right?
Yep, for sure.
I think that when people think of different in-house positions, they have concepts, but I don't think anybody has any concept of what the general counsel of a major sports team does. Can you tell us, whether it's your day-to-day or week-to-week, what it's like, what you're dealing with?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of my job is, I think, similar to in-house counsel at small to medium-sized companies. Like I said, we've got 2 lawyers, 200 or so full-time employees. So a lot of it is employment agreements and risk management and insurance and software as a service agreements and just all of those general transactional matters, plus the occasional litigation. But in addition to that, there's all kind of that basketball and arena specific stuff. So we also operate Toyota Center, so anytime a concert comes through, there's an agreement for that concert. Sponsorship agreements, player contracts, obviously a unique thing that I work on. The employment agreements, while they're our vice presidents, they're also the head coach who's making millions of dollars.
Right.
And the day-to-day, I mean, it's mostly transactional stuff, as most in-house counsel are, but it varies kind of based on where you are in the year. So right now it's a lot of basketball stuff, a lot of new coaches. Soon it'll be player-related stuff with the draft and free agency. After that, we'll move into sponsorship season, or we have new sponsors for the season. And then kind of all of the marketing agreements at the beginning of the season.
What was it like when you found out that you were going to be the GC of the Rockets, right? You'd been an in-house counsel of the Rockets for probably 3 or 4 or 5 years by that time, maybe even more than that. And suddenly there's this opportunity to have one of 30 jobs in the whole world. What was that like?
So our previous general counsel is still with the team. He moved over to become general manager of the team, right? He works on the basketball side now. So I knew the position was open. And as soon as he moved over, I was already kind of making my pitch to our CEO, to our ownership group, and kind of hey, I'd love to get this position. And I was in a period of limbo where I was the only lawyer, but also not the general counsel for 6 to 9 months or so. And then finally, once the season ended and they had time to focus on kind of what the next step was going to be, I got called in. I was excited. My brother, who's my identical twin brother, who's a huge Rockets fan, I think he was more excited than I was. He immediately went on Facebook and was telling everybody. But yeah,
he was proud. He was proud of you. He's allowed to be proud of you.
Yeah, he was very proud. He reached out to a gay sports website that focuses on gay people who work in sports or athletes. he like reached out that night and was like, my brother just got promoted to general counsel, you need to do a story on it. And that was the first story that came out. So, but anyway, no, it was really cool.
There's a lot about your job and your position and just getting that job and getting to where you are that already is considered right along the lines of our thematic unlawful moments. But is there a specific story or anecdote, whether it's about your time at the Rockets or any other aspect of your career, that you would consider your kind of unlawful moment?
There's so many unique things about being in-house lawyer for the Rockets, and so many things that lawyers don't get to experience, which is like great. And like some of the work that I do is like such drudgery, and I'm like, gosh, it's an endless line of sponsorship agreements. And I will tell you, the thing that I hate the most is player immigration. It's just like, it's so tedious, and the wait times are ridiculous. So every time we sign a foreign player, I'm like, God, another foreign, like, isn't there an American that we can sign that would be just as good? So I honestly dread player immigration more than anything. And it's a lot of work. Like, we have players who go abroad too, and sometimes they need visas to go abroad, and all of a sudden I have to help them with their visas. And players who are here longer term need help with their green card. So anyway, when we drafted Alfred Şengün, I was like, here we go. But with Şengün, because he had so much immigration, there's so much paperwork to fill out. And when he first got here, he didn't speak a lot of English. So he was up in my office regularly. He also had a guy named Orhun who was with him, who unofficially was his translator. He wasn't a translator by trade, but he was just kind of a friend of his who spoke some English. So we brought him on board to help out with media and post-game questions and that type of thing. So between Orhun and Orhun's probably 10 years older than Alfie, maybe 15 years older than Alfie. We became kind of like his American mentor there for a little while. And Alfie's the nicest guy, just like constantly happy and outgoing and always wants to chat, develop a relationship with him. He asked me before last season whether I thought he should continue to rent an apartment or he should buy a house. So we had a whole long conversation about like the pros and cons of buying a house, particularly when you don't know exactly how long you'll be living in the city. At the beginning of the season, we do a team-wide media day to introduce the players to the media, and they do all kinds of interviews, and they have to stop by stations to get their photos done and to film introductions. And I'm always the guy assigned to him because of the relationship we built over the years.
It's funny because you started by saying you don't look forward to the player immigration piece, but it also gives you this kind of interaction and this ability to connect with the person, because it's just like any other legal work. When you roll up your sleeves and are on a team with somebody, whether it's litigation or getting a deal done or anything, you kind of jump on the team with that person. And when you're in the trenches, it's a different relationship than any other relationship. It allows you to build kind of different kinds of bonds. I think you've done a really good job of crystallizing exactly how you can have kind of this extremely aspirational job and still have it be a job, but still understand that what you do is special. I mean, the way your eyes lit up when you were explaining how you're a huge part of the history of the Houston Rockets, and that's something that not many people can say.
And offices are inside Toyota Center, so when I go to a game, I just like walk down the stairs and out into the arena, which is, I just have to remind myself that like, who has the opportunity to do that? And like the relationships that I've built with Alfie, like not many people can say that. I mean, yeah, the job can suck sometimes, but it's really cool most of the time.
And the part of that is, I think, so uplifting and so incredible for other lawyers who are not the general counsel of the Rockets, is that even you have those days.
Oh yeah, right.
Right? I think it's freeing and liberating to know that everybody in every position, from Nikola Jokic to you at the Rockets to me at Mayor Brown, have those days where it's like, it's just not our best day, but you can still take the time to recognize the unlawful moments. And really, that's the story of Unlawful, and that's the purpose of this project, is to try to remind people of those moments. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do so, and that's Unlawful.
Yeah, it's different down here. The oil that we sipping, baby, different down here. Everything trilling bigger, better down here. Finger on the trigger when you move around here. Yeah, it's different down here.